everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of Happy Freya. Thank you so much for tuning in and being here. I know it's been a while since I've come on here to record an episode, but here I am. And I would also like to let you know that I've got some really cool guests coming up shortly here. So please stay tuned. And we're going to get into some really exciting topics here. More about star nations and aliens, if you want to call them. It's kind of like, okay, whatever you want to call them. Earth is also somebody else's alien to another planet. So it's a matter of perspective, but I hear you. So I wanted to get in a bit about, it's very interesting because I titled the show Happy Freya, and the concept of happiness seems to be playing about quite a bit. And I know there's some people who think that, happiness is just being fake. And I'm here to say, no, it's not. Although some people could utilize it as such, but it's not. For me, if you do personally know me, I'm pretty much like, I'm a positive person. And I do see things through light. And and it doesn't mean I don't see darkness. It's because I allow myself to balance those shadow and light and dark aspects of yourself, that I can see a picture holistically. And pun intended, it means to see it as a whole. And, we can even get into a little bit about what transmutation means, which I believe is a superpower gift. How do you transmute darkness into light? And some even transmute light into darkness. It's your point of view. You're the creator of your reality. I've always been a scholar of how is our reality created? I'm not one for we are a victim of circumstance. I don't believe that. I do believe that our soul came down here, our infinity came down here to explore itself and explore many concepts, explore many themes. Each individual has come here to explore, whether it be sciences, whether it be biology. I want to explore the arts. I want to explore physics. I want to explore how do people learn. I want to explore psychology. I want to explore the healing arts. So whatever those aspects are, whatever your genius is, go shine your light in your genius. Whatever makes you happy and lights that spark within you. I think everybody has a point of view to the puzzle. And it's important if we could come to a place in our evolutionary process as humanity as well to look beyond the I am right aspect. Hey, there's my neighbor. She's so cute. I love her so much. Hi, Miko. We just clapped to each other. So she's just amazing. She's this amazing neighbor of mine. So we always hang out at the balcony, and I think she's 90 something, and she just has this spirit of joy in her heart. When you meet somebody, even if it's for like the first time, and like your innate reaction is just to smile because that's the energy they exude. That's Miko right there. She just went inside, but that's just her, and I just love her. She's amazing. My Japanese isn't that great. I could learn it, but we do speak a little bit of English to each other. So I think that's a gift too, is to go out your balcony and go smile at people. I think many of that is occurring too in the world. I appreciate the human spirit. So what does happiness mean to me? It means that you explore all aspects of yourself, and I do believe that the infinity within ourselves is a pure ecstatic expression of the cosmos. And that which we call darkness and light and the duality and all these aspects, I won't get into it as much, but I see them as colors, and I see them as depth, and I see them as dimension. I was working with my cover artist, Lana, who's amazing. My book is going to be coming out. It's projected April 19th, 2020. So this month, I'm hoping to get it out. She is doing a fantastic, amazing interstellar job of the cover. And I was working with her, and we were playing with colors, and we were just playing with contrast and light. And what, I know we hear it all the time, but what popped the stars out more was darkness. It did. It brought out the stars. It gave so much depth and dimension into this physical reality. Even though it was a one-dimensional image, it pushed it into a 3D image. More on that later. That'll be a blog post of mine. You can head over to pamsing.com to read that, and also on my Medium account too. Happiness is basically what we just experienced here, and like that wasn't planned in the past 2 minutes. So there you go. It's pretty much demonstrated through that. I didn't have anything planned or scripted here. I just knew that I wanted to come on and talk about why Happy Freya. Freya, if you don't know, is the Norse goddess of love and death and sex and magic. You know, she was shape-shifting. She could transform. She was this beautiful goddess. And for me, that reminded me of her planet is Venus, which is also my planet. And my planet is also Pluto. Shout out to the Plutonians out there. I see ya and I hear ya. Love ya. Love you guys. So shout out to the Plutonians always. They're quite the characters. I do love them. So Venus is basically a planet of mine too that I adore, you know, of love. And for me, it's like unconditional love and beauty and you know, the beauty industry definitely has its shadow sides as well too. What would it be? It'd be vanity. So I do believe that there are ways that you break duality, and I won't get into any of that talk yet. But I do believe it's reconciling with your oneness of everything, and that within everything and within every spark that's within us, it comes from the same source. I was even contemplating how to even demonstrate that, and the best example that came to me was empathy. Because I could look at another individual, even though they're living a completely separate life than I am, making different decisions than I have a different, you know, physical autonomy than I do. Yet a part of me understands when I talk to him or her what he or she is going through. And that to me is like a oneness. That's like a cosmic oneness. And I think compassion is a demonstration of cosmic oneness as well. I wanted to talk about here too is a bit of superpowers and spiritual gifts, whatever you want to call it. Is we are starting to wake up to those parts of us that may have seen untangible, and they're starting to become tangible. Such gifts as that I mentioned earlier, as empathy, definitely connecting with your fellow human beings is one. Clairecognicient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, you know, it's like calling all your powers, you know, reclaiming your power, reclaiming these innate natural abilities that everybody has within themselves. You know, maybe some people might have tapped into it more than others. Maybe some people want to develop certain areas more than others, you know, and I do believe that this is possible and you can do it through exercises. And I do believe that the foundation for these gifts are based in unconditional love and infinite intelligence. And that is how I believe one should proceed with the gifts. And I'll demonstrate that for you. For example, the gift of telepathy. Okay, having the ability or the thought to actually, so we break it down, you know, I say we because I'm part of a cosmic celestial team here, but we break it down into two aspects. Telepathic communication through empathy. I'm going to say it one more time. Telepathic communication through empathy. Telepathy, 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 right? When you break down the words, it kind of gives you a clue sometimes. So telepathic communication is the mind, and it's through empathy. And the best way I can demonstrate that, which is why I kind of set the foundational work for it to be in the healing arts, to do your healing work before you start to jump into these gifts even more and more, even though these are innate natural abilities, they're within us all. It's that if you could hear somebody's thoughts, and let's just say somebody's thoughts, by the way, the only reason the thoughts connected in the first place is through the heart's code, and through the center of your heart, you're sending out a frequency through brain waves. And when you catch the same frequency, whether it be gamma, delta, whatever it is, you're not sharing the same thought, but you're basically, you know, and this is on the blog as well, and I'll share it too, is that you're plugging into an old earth system, you know, and there were women at that time who would always get one phone call, like a sender-receiver. Okay, that's a sender-receiver model, I like to call it. That's what I got to before. So a lot of this stuff that I'm channeling now, I'm channeling for you. And that's like what people call a download, claircognizant. You're receiving a download, and then you're interpreting that information from the ethers or celestial beings or guides or beings of light into a podcast form, which is kind of like right now. You're taking information from sorry, not the information from the ethers bit. Through telepathy, you're making a connection, a heartfelt connection. You're both on the same frequency, right? Gamma, delta, whatever it is. And you're in a sender-receiver mode, right? So, if like two people can hear each other, they have this example of lovers as well, who have some sort of, telepathic communication between each other. It's almost like they can hear each other's thoughts. Now let's just say you connect with a thought that doesn't sound so good and doesn't feel so good, because a lot of our thoughts, believe it or not, and you know it, they're shitty, right? And you really shouldn't entertain many of those thoughts. Some of them could be your mother or your father or your whatever, or you know what I mean, your critical voice, your analytical voice. Don't pay attention to those ones. And by saying don't pay attention to them, you might. But what I'm saying is go in a meditative state, go back into oneness and practice that state. All of these things take practice. It's a bit like, if you have seen my YouTube station, it's a bit of like mental exercises, what I call them. Like digital mental exercises to really push your reality into another realm, because you are doing that. And if you want to co-create or play in another realm, you do that by giving it attention. Because when you take attention through like a magnifying glass of like the sun and the stars, you can literally create a third element, which is fire, right? Through attention and focus. And the other trick is this: that which you build a relationship to or with brings it into existence, into your reality. If you do not build a relationship with it, it won't exist in your reality because you don't think it will exist. Simultaneously, the collective consciousness is starting to wake up to things as well. And as they're waking up to things, it's basically, some people might call this the ascension process, 5D and fifth density and all that work, and entering into the world of dimensions and all that. We are that right now. Earth is not floating alone by herself. She's with her other cosmic brothers and sisters and sentient beings and interdimensional beings all around the planet as we speak. Many of whom are very aware of Earth, and now Earth is starting to be aware of them. So that's kind of interesting. I'm just playing with you right here to play with these concepts a bit. So now that we're starting to wake up to like our brothers and sisters in the cosmos, a lot of things within this paradigm is going to change, and that's really exciting, is that we're waking up to more of who we really are. And what is Earth's rightful place among the stars? This is her time to shine, that we're waking up to our innate gifts of psychic abilities and telepathy and speaking with animals and speaking with plants and speaking with, I'm just looking at my friend Gully here. He's just outside my deck, and he's just this wonderful seagull. And I built a relationship with him. I go out, I talk to him. Hey, how's it going, Gully? One of the things while playing these, if you want to call it a game, you can do it like you're playing with it. One of the biggest things about playing this is to not give a rip what anybody else thinks. And one of the things I used to do in my front yard is I used to do qigong barefoot on the grass. And that's pretty much where I received a lot of these downloads from light beings, was to ground myself. Because the deeper your roots, the higher you go. Okay? I'm going to say it one more time. The deeper the roots, the higher you go. One of my friends actually said, whatever you see above ground for the tree, almost, not equal to, but almost, that's what's below. There's a whole network there, and it does exist. And when you build a relationship with that network, now you are starting to, and I like to say kindness. When you build a relationship of kindness to that network, they will open up to you. It's the same thing with people. You go in with sincerity and authenticity. People can smell that years away, and it's refreshing. So when you build a relationship with something, it's what's happening. And I do believe that the layers and the densities of our 5D plane is starting to open. And what's really interesting is I'm talking into this 3-dimensional mic, right? Which is, 3 of space. We're going to call it 1 of time, but times I won't get into. But I'm talking to this mic that's connected to my laptop. and it's transmitting sound waves that are letters of the alphabet, which form words that create meaning. And how people interpret it is up to them. But obviously, I have my way of saying my words in my sentence to get a point across. And so or to communicate, so that all that, letters and words, are being captured by a microphone that is transmitting the data and information into my laptop, let's call it the mothership, and it's visually representing that as a sound wave, which is a vertical line on my laptop. And those, my friends, are called layers and densities. That's how I kind of see it. Because a laptop is a 1D plane, you know? I know we say one-dimensional too, but let's just say it's like a one-dimensional plane. It's a flat surface. It's one density of measuring something. And then it's being transmitted through the other, if you look at the other way around, through words and meaning, you know? It's just interesting. Anyway, I just had to share that because that thought just came up. So, happy Freya. I'm hitting 17 minutes. This was basically freestyle. The summary is basically happiness. I didn't even get into the Norse goddess, and I just gave my shout out to the Plutonians, and shout out to the Venusians, and the Saturnians, and the Jupiterians, and the Uranus, and all of them. Like, seriously, these are really cool times that we're living in the broader, grander scheme of things, in this scale, you know, and it's exciting how we are literally opening up portals to other star systems right now. That's how I feel. And I think that needs to be celebrated. And at the same time, we're definitely shifting energies on this earth, on this planet. And a lot of those old ways too are being outdated. They're making their way out, and new energy is definitely making its way into the cosmos as we speak. So I definitely wanted to take that opportunity to celebrate that and celebrate our innate gifts and our innate abilities. And I'd like to get more into, you know, a little bit of densities and dimensions and realms and worlds. And if you're into that, please stay tuned. We have special guest Preston Dennett coming back on the show. We're going to talk about aliens, UFOs. We're going to talk about people making first contact, and we're going to talk about open contact. It's going to be a special 2-part series. Stay tuned with that. And next week's show, I'm going to be chatting with a very dear friend of mine who I met, you know, literally just walked in the store and met her, Maya, from Just Two Girls, and we shot a podcast there in Toronto. Shout out to the Torontonians and T-Dot out there from Vancouver. We'll be doing a Zoom meeting, and I hope you stay tuned with that. We'll explore all planes of existence and talk about small businesses and how they're being creative and also being affected by what's going on right now, and how we can help each other out in all areas. So let's celebrate each other more as we are, and hang in there, hang tight. I love you all. Please be kind to each other. Be well. And if you have your angry, sad moments, celebrate those too, because that makes you human. That gives you so much depth, pushes the stars more into the light. And that's why they work together, you know? It's complements. It's the totality of it all. So thank you for listening. Have a great day. Bye. Subscribe below.